power of this technology goes so far beyond what like the typical like table conversation about VR gives it credit for. You know, like we talk about it as like a useful tool or an immersive, fun experience, but what we're talking about is like truly transformational.
It should be perfectly possible to trick your brain into any experience if your brain can already do that itself naturally. So VR is almost like taking that ability for our brain to generate any experience for us and like putting it in our hands, which is wild.
Man, that's something in the history books. People are going to look back and be like, yeah, 2022, 2023. That's when education, after hundreds of years, finally upgraded.
We're in a strange time where our physical worlds are intersecting with our digital identities, and right now is a time to kind of determine what you want that to be.
Once you have full body tracking that works well and it's frictionless, right? Meaning it's easy to do.
Yes.
It's a whole new. It's not a game changer, it's a whole new game.
So maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really disco VR, Discover.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad when people ask me about VR, or they're like, what do you do? Like, all right. You asked.
Yes.
Here it comes.
I love VR, but I love going out and breathing fresh air. And not only was I stuck in VR for 10 days, I was stuck in one room because I was streaming, you know, the same space. I didn't see the sunlight. I totally lost track of what time everything was.
She dances with the robot. She does the first steps. She dances with that robot. She takes that thing off her fist. I have the video. I'm holding it hostage. She takes it off her head and she says, I gotta have it.
There are a few moments in my life I can remember very vividly. The day I got married, the day my kids were born, the day Facebook announced that they bought Oculus is one of those days. I was making chili.
I've been in a lot of gaming communities, and the VR community is by far the best community that I've ever been involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. My name is Alex. I'm one half of the Between Realities duo, I guess. And the other half is Skiva, and he's sitting right here next to me.
Hey, dude.
Skiva, how you doing, Skiva?
Man. Woo! So, as you guys know, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I moved, and so we are setting this show up at Alex's house, and I get down till the very second we hit this live button. But I think we're good. Let us know if there's any issues with audio or anything like that. And
bro,
and yeah.
So here's the thing. Like, you know, my my space that we're in currently, myspace.com, my space that we're in currently is considerably tighter than the space that we were in before Skiva moved out. Yeah. And you know, we started pulling everything into this room, and I'm like, oh god, like this is pretty tight. And this camera is probably I don't know, a third of the distance than it used to be. Like, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I'm looking at the feed, bro. That looks pretty good.
It looks a lot clearer. Well, yeah, because the closer you get, the more detail you get.
Like,
right?
look
Yeah,
at that.
absolutely.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Like that looks pretty nice, doesn't
Heck
it?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like
awesome.
The visual looks pretty good. Maybe we need to bring that camera.
Yeah,
in
we will
from now on.
We'll definitely do that. Oh, right on. Well, you know, like, oh, how stressful, right? Like, because we got here and there were no scenes built at all, so we had to completely rebuild the ship. Super fast.
Yes.
It was like Fast and Furious. Click, 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 click.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it, man.
We did. And thank you guys
job.
for coming. Thank you guys for coming, because it's not in vain now, because you guys are here.
Amen. Amen to that. You know, the diehard Between Realities crew will know that we were not here last week. We were in Austin, Texas during the show and attending South by Southwest.
Yep.
And that was pretty cool.
That was fun, man. You know, South by Southwest, like when you really get down to it, we go to expos because we go for the VR, we go to see the tech and the games and meet studios and blah blah blah, right? But you know, South by Southwest has a good amount of VR, but it's very, you know, artsy, very experimental stuff, documentary type of stuff, which is great. It's not typically, you know, our bag, right? But what was there was half the VR community came anyway.
Legit.
You know, like some really awesome people were there, and we got to hang out. We got to party a lot. And for those who have never been to South by Southwest, it's pretty much almost 500,000 people. It's 400,000 people. And the entire city of Austin gets swallowed up by this insane expo. And of course there's an expo center, but like every hall and every hotel is taken over. Every bar has live music.
It's a festival.
It is. It's a festival.
It's nuts. Festival.
It's music. It's movies. It's TV. It's gaming. It's VR.
Yeah.
And we even get to go to a Netflix premiere.
We did. And it even was a little bit VR related.
It was VR related. It's a show called Three Body Problem, which is a series of books that came out in China. They use VR headsets and VR technology. So it's really cool. A cool show done by the directors and writers of Game of Thrones and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I was blown away when we're sitting, because we're in the audience now. A premiere, just in case you weren't aware of this, and I barely is the first time anybody sees it. Like, it's the premiere, you know. So we're in the audience watching the first episode of Three Body Problem with the group of people who are seeing it all for the very first time, including, I'm guessing, probably the cast too, who were in attendance, and so were the directors and writers, like Steve just mentioned. And when these dudes came walking out, I kind of lost my shit, because I watched so much Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones, and granted, those two guys, D&D, maybe they like ruined the last couple seasons, whatever. Point is, they made the first 4, and those first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones are incredible. So I was a little starstruck when I saw those guys walk out.
Yeah, that's fun. And they gave us some cool swag, right? We each got I know, it's like,
why don't I have it here?
I know. We got these cool futuristic looking VR headsets. They're, you know, glorified sunglasses, but it was super fun. Anyway, this theater held 500 people. Get to pile into this premiere. I've never seen a line so long.
Yeah, it was
and
cool.
I never seen one move so fast either, as we all piled into the Paramount Theater. So it was really cool.
For real.
But we got to hang out with all kinds of people, from Walkabout Mini Golf to the Golf Plus guys to you know, Paul Brady from Resolution Games and Alvin Wing Grayling from HTC, and just so many people.
Dude, you could keep going and going.
Yeah, you know, just it was so much fun. And we had a blast.
It was a great time. Yeah,
and
you know,
then
saw the VR stuff when we could. Stumbled into a concert or two while we could. Hung out at this place called the Cidercade, which was really badass.
Oh, dude.
It's like Skiba's heaven.
That's my favorite place in the whole world now. It really is. It's all, you pay like $12 to get in, and then it's unlimited play on all the arcade machines, all the pinball machines. They have a really sick collection, really good games, and they sell pretty much exclusively hard cider, which is my absolute favorite, and they sell pizza, and even
vegan pizza,
even dairy-free cheese, right? And they have a beautiful, beautiful view over like the lake or whatever that runs through Austin, and you get to see the beautiful skyline of the city. Anyway, best bar I've ever been to. If you go to Austin, go to Cidercade. Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely great.
Yeah. Also, and just to throw this out there too, if you're like, man, that sounds cool, maybe I could have been there, I wonder how you get involved. We got access to South by through what I was initially called the XR Pitch. Maybe it's just called Pitch now. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But when I signed up, it was the XR Pitch advisory board. And it's like we spent a few hours judging different startups for this competition that they were doing at South by, and then boom, platinum badge in the mail. So if you're interested in going to South by and you're like maybe eyeballing this advisory board thing, let us know, and you know, maybe we can put you in touch with the right people.
Yep. And then Sunday,
dude, go ahead.
Sunday we came back a couple days, and then we're off to GDC. So next week again there won't be a show. Sorry, love you guys.
We try.
Yeah,
like we even like considered doing pre-recorded.
Yeah. And it was just so hard. And we would have, I think, if it wasn't for me moving and like, needing to like set up here and like it wasn't doable.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
It wasn't. Well, listen, I want to start getting things moving a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so enough of us just sitting here chatting. This. It's okay. Sorry. Pump the brakes. Okay. Let's get things moving. I want to quickly say hi to some of those who have tuned into the live chat today. By the way, we're live on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
It's daylight savings time, so it might even be an hour earlier than normal for you, or later. An hour later.
Think an hour later.
It might be an hour later than typical for you, but whatever. We do the show at 2 p.m. our time. Our time doesn't change. Whatever. Deal with it. If you don't like the time we do this, let us know, and we will consider doing another time.
For sure.
But nobody ever tells us anything, so we just keep doing it.
Yep.
So anyway, quickly. Saying hi to Brandon VR, which, by the way, Brandon, I just want to say shout out to you with all of like the content creation stuff you're doing, man. I love seeing it. Brandon VR is a specialist in first-person shooters in VR, and he's making content and he's streaming and he's pretty good at games too. So give Brandon a follow, like, and subscribe. Ryan B's here. Qcreator says the weekend, and he's never been wrong about it. Obscure Nerd, that's Andy, bro.
Hey, man.
When are we ever going to see him again?
I don't know, man.
Bro, come on,
dude.
Come up to San Francisco this week.
We need some Obscure Nerd
We
time.
do, absolutely. Ashley C, happy Friday. Thank you, Ashley, for tuning in. Assassin32 VR, what's shaking, dude? Next Smile VR is here. Yeah, just saw Kensei. Who's that? I don't know. Let's find out soon.
Kensei.
Koze's here, and they're ready. Vrolok is here. Oh, man, the homie. Dude, getting things done. Really good episode of Get Him to the Metaverse yesterday.
Heck yeah, it was.
Yeah, definitely go scope out Get Him to the Metaverse. It's an awesome podcast from Jay Dunn and Joy Rain.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
Amelia Faust is in the house. Moonshine Games is here as well. Silver Nexus. Hey, VR friends and family. Yo, Silver Nexus.
What's up?
Yo, VR Spry Guy. Happy birthday, VR Spry Guy.
Yeah, happy birthday to you.
Looper the Underground Game Cat. Yo, by the way, I gotta say this. Game Cats, we love you guys.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much for making Brian Paul's episode the most watched episode of Between Realities ever. Also, the shorts that I made out of that are the best performing shorts that we've had on the channel yet. Shout out to Brian for taking the time to come and do this. Shout out to Wes for making that happen. And shout out to all you Game Cats who are coming back to Between Realities, because we love you and we're trying to grow our community, and there's something here for you. Okay, so
heck yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Red Rum Gaming VR is in the house. Pete Austin is here. What's up, Pete?
Hey.
Oh, I know who that is. Glitch Fandango. That's right.
Hey, what's up, Glitch?
Yeah, SoulBC, by the way, dropping $10. $10. I don't even think I have my air horn, dog. I might have to hit you with like this. That's your air horn.
You do the noise anyway. You might as well just do it.
No, okay. So he says much love to Between Realities. You absolute legends.
Right
You're a legend, bro. Thank you, man. Elvert, I'm here and watching my first live podcast at my new place.
Nice, dude.
Boom.
Heck yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of that.
Yeah, man.
Let's see here. Silver Nexus, I said so. Brittany, sounding good and looking good. Thank you, dear. Jay Bratt is in the house with his golden Between Realities logo.
Heck yeah. What up, Jay Bratt?
Love to see that. Game Cat Chicago. Love the interview with Brian. Thanks, man. Thank you. Impact Reality XR is here saying that they love the shirt.
Reality.
By the way, if you're listening to the audio version on maybe Spotify or Audible or I don't know, wherever else, you can't see my super dope Virtual Strangers t-shirt.
Dude, it's so good.
Which I just picked up recently.
It's so good.
What's actually great is you can make it any color you want. You just like, what's your favorite color? Boom, there it is. Now you have a Virtual Strangers.
I think you picked the right one.
We're both wearing blue shirts.
Yeah, we are. I got a little rendered reality. You got some Virtual Strangers.
What do we need to do? Man. Do we need to like start a petition or something to get
bring them back? I don't know, man. I don't know.
And what makes me mad is that if they went live like now, everybody would just leave our channel and go straight over, and they would have like 250 viewers.
For sure.
I hate them, but I love them.
I gotta say, what's up to Impact Reality? That's the company I co-founded with Eric Masher and VR with Jasmine and Elliot Tate. And make sure you go over to Q2C VR Gamer tonight for their podcast, because we're gonna make a special announcement on there about some really cool stuff that you'll all probably think is pretty dope, honestly.
I'll be there.
So yeah.
Say no more. Space Denizen, good to see you, man. Verified Games, good to see you as well. Looper the Underground Game Cat, yo, here. as well. Laszlo 216, that's Cleveland represent. Absolutely. BaxornVR, talking about GDC. Maybe you're going to be there. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah. Hit us up if you're going to be at GDC. We'd love to see you guys.
Yeah, do that. And, blah, blah, blah. We love you all. Today's guest. Man. If that ever becomes too much, you guys, just let me know. Blair, shout out to Blair. He's the one that, he's like, yo, end those shout outs, man. It takes too long, Shout out to Blair. Lo-fi, coming when it's done, 2030.
We saw a trailer at one of the parties for Lo-fi, and it said, coming when it's done, 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
it's not 2023.
It's the ongoing show. Hussein X, good to see you too, buddy.
Hey, dude.
So listen, dude, Ninja VR, hi. Well, you just moved, right?
I did.
And let's be real. That wouldn't have happened if a couple of things didn't happen, right?
If it weren't for the homies.
Right? Yeah, there's a couple of things being people.
Yep.
Yeah, me being one of them.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Probably the MVP if I had to assign one, But close second would be the other homie. And honestly, like, we tell the story about how we met sometimes. And, the quick version is that this guy started a subreddit for virtual reality in Arizona and organized a meetup. I found the subreddit, made a connection. I'm like, yo, I'm coming to your meetup. And guess who was there? Me and Skiva. That was it. VR and AZ was us. And that's kind of how we felt it is, really, for a long time. And until we met today's guest. This is a homie who lives right here in our backyard in Arizona. He's just as passionate about VR as we are. And he has put his foot on the gas as far as VR content creation goes. And I can tell that he is not about to start letting up. So it's a huge pleasure to introduce our homie and today's guest at Between Realities, KenseiGamingVR. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's good?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And just so you know, I wasn't that close as far as second is concerned. Like, you were right up there, and then it's like me right here. I tried my best that day. Okay, I'll tell you that.
You did phenomenal, dude.
No, dude,
you had a lot of heavy stuff.
You stepped up. You stepped up. You were a monster, and I'm sure you were tapping into your Brazilian jiu-jitsu background to make some of that happen. Yeah.
I use my breathing techniques and telling myself in my head, don't give up, don't give up.
Yeah, dude, we were like, failure is not an option, man. Keep pushing. Because let me tell you, Skiva, if you've never met him in person, he's a big dude, and the size of a bed that this man needs is dramatically larger than what you might expect. So good luck getting that up some stairs. We had some fun.
Out of doors. It's you have a large bed. It's a large bed. I don't even get to sleep on a bed this big. It's literally a full size. I had to tell Miss Kensei because she goes, oh, let's look at this queen comforter. And then she goes, they don't have any fulls? I was like, yeah, because most grown adults don't sleep on full bed.
No.
Well, but anyway, it's really awesome to have you here in Arizona with us, man. It's so cool. And, we've really had an opportunity to become friends over the past, I don't know, what, year or so? Something like that. So it's great to have you on finally. What'd you think of that introduction? It was pretty good, right?
That was pretty sick. That was pretty good. I couldn't have done it better myself. Hold on, I'm writing down notes right now. Learn how to do stellar intro.
So you
guys are pros.
Oh yeah. Well, Jasmine just made a really good point. Jasmine said, then why isn't Kensei in the studio?
Well,
the heck? Why didn't we even think of that?
You already know why. It's because adding a third microphone to this setup is no simple task.
Yeah, this is true.
I have a microphone right here.
It's gonna take more than that, buddy. We have microphones. Oh, do you have the Samsung? What is it? The C.
This is a HyperX quadcast that you can get on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But it's a HyperX quadcast.
Nice. Whatever. But anyway, that's complicated stuff. And I like having you here. We're giving you the legitimate VR experience. You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah, this is really cool, man. So
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So, you're saying that we're professionals, but something that I found interesting as we were like moving skivas around and, confiding in each other in our moments when we're in between places, you were talking about kind of your journey as how you got started with content creation. And your content creation journey started before you got into VR, which I think is pretty interesting. And you mentioned that you had like subscribed or used Pipeline, which I think is really, really interesting, which is like a training program basically for content creation. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't mind talking about that at all. So I originally got into VR creation with flat screen and was just trying to find a better way just to hone in on my abilities as far as a content creator and streamer. Because like once you get into the game, it's like you don't know where to start. Like you're kind of like dangling there. Like, I don't know where to go. Is this the right thing? Well, then on, I think it was Facebook Gaming, I saw Stone Mountain. He was doing something. He was like, "Oh, join my program Pipeline." I'm like, okay, maybe I should join that because Stone Mountain 64 is a legend in the gaming scene. So I signed up and got to train, get to learn a bunch of weird and interesting things about streaming, especially with like cameras, lighting, how to talk to chat, how to be present and in the moment while you're streaming. Get to learn some legal information too, because there's a lot of like with taxes. So they have like a whole program where they bring a lawyer in and you discuss taxes and how you go about doing taxes when you're earning enough revenue where you're like, oh, I better make sure the government knows that I have a little bit of money saved for them just in case.
So like at what point do you like subscribe to this? Like, are you like making videos already? You kind of get up and running and you're like, I could use more information. I could use more. And like, if you don't mind me asking, like, was it expensive to do?
No, it's not. Well, depends on what your definition of expensive was. It depends because it's like your dream, right? So if it's your dream, you're going to spend whatever you need to make sure you're either gaining knowledge or at least having the things you need in order to progress. So that was my thought process. I looked at it as more of I'm investing into my future. And it was only $35 a month, which I felt wasn't bad with the plethora of knowledge that you get. So, and you get to learn from like a true professional, with Stone Mountain and how he advanced his career, especially as somebody who's more family friendly as well. Because that was more, once I got into VR, it turned family friendly because I wasn't always family friendly. Just so you guys know.
Yeah, so. That's a line that I have difficulty walking myself.
It's hard. I come from a family of sailor mouths, so for me, it was a big change because, especially with Miss Kensei, like her family doesn't swear a lot. So when Tribe was like, "Oh, you should try to lean more towards family friendly," I was like, "Oh, that should be pretty easy. I can do that." And it made sense because from a bunch of other podcasts, I used to watch a lot of comedy podcasts like Hey Babe and stuff. And they would always talk about how it's best to not swear, especially like if you're going live or something, because then sponsors see that and people who like want you to, hey, advertise our brand on our show. So they lean more towards people who aren't swearing as much, or at least swearing within a certain time frame.
Yeah.
So
I feel you, but like I'm inspired by people who I see go out there and just like absolutely refuse to conform. Like I see people go out there, like there's some people who have insanely successful channels and they just go off. They say and do whatever they want. And it does not prevent them from being successful at all. Like maybe they miss like this sponsorship or that sponsorship, or maybe they're slow to start the sponsorships because like there's less low hanging fruit there. But, like I've really tried to approach like, just like, I'm just going to keep it real, damn it. I'm going to be me. I'm just going to say what I want to say. And like, if you don't like me, then you're not going to like me later. Like that's kind of been the way I've tried to do it. But then we partnered up with Upload and I'm like, well, let's like meet in the middle somewhere and like try to be better. So it is a difficult thing to walk because, at the end of the day, like I find that just keeping it 100% real, like really cuts me loose of having to even worry about it. Like it just, there's liberation in that. So yeah, it's difficult.
Quick shout out to SoulBC with the $5 super chat saying, "I wish you well. Back to the Combat Waffle Studio grind. Take my money, keep it, and use it. Much love." And he also says, can say, "Keep up the content. Combat Waffle sees you." They're Better watch it.
Combat Waffle sees you. You've got the Ghost of Tabor hat, and it was Ghost of Tabor really was your introduction to VR, wasn't it?
Yes.
See, that's how new you are to the space, man. I absolutely love it. Like, you show up and like out of nowhere, you're like, boom, foot on the gas, making a name for yourself. That's so cool. How did
I
this
changed
happen?
my whole brand.
How did this happen?
Because so originally I was a Tarkov streamer and creator. I love Escape from Tarkov. That's
Kensei, Ninja Guy VR dropped $5 on us. He says, hey, just popped in to say a quick hello. Time to play some VR. Catch up later. Thanks, Ninja. Appreciate you, dude.
Sweet Ninja, keeping it real. I love it.
Cool. So go on.
But yeah, so I was a Tarkov player in Tribe. I've known Tribe Greywolf for quite a while prior to a little bit of his VR, before he went into VR.
How?
And for the how?
Love Tribe Greywolf.
How did you know him?
The absolute homie.
Because we were actually in a Discord together. So right when I started off with streaming it, the whole thing is get into Discord, push yourself on the going live. So he was one of the people I would tune in because his going live was different because there's always his photography because he's a professional photographer. And so you watch him edit his photographs. And so we built a friendship because I just started talking to him and he always had the coolest stuff when he would stream. And he'd be like, Kensei, check this out. He goes, you should add this to your stream. So for instance, one was like a Kamehameha or not the Kamehameha where you go Super Saiyan and you literally just push a button and just go, ah, and then like you start to build up. So anyway,
wait, hold on. You mean like there's like a visual effect over you on the camera that makes you look like you're igniting like a Super Saiyan?
Yep. And Tribe had that information. He always had the coolest stuff. And so he always kept in touch, or if I had any issues with OBS, it'd be like, yo, Tribe, do you have a moment to help me out here?
Nice.
And then one day he just kept coming to my stream over and over and over again, day after day. Anytime I was live, he goes, when are you going to get into VR? When are you going to play Tarkov VR? I'm like, what is Tarkov VR? And he showed me what it was. I watched some videos, and that was February or March of last year. And so I knew I was going to get a nice check from where I work. So I was like, I'm buying a Quest 2. And he goes, don't do that yet. He goes, Quest 3 is around the corner. I'm going to send you a headset. Sent me a Rift S.
Nice.
The first thing I did was hooked it up to my laptop. Got in the headset, bought Ghost of Tabor because I was like, I gotta try Ghost of Tabor. And sure enough, after that, I was like, I don't know, it wasn't like the next day, but like the next week, I went from Kensei Gaming to KenseiGamingVR, rebranded my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook gaming, and dove more into TikTok because Tribe was like, you got to get into TikTok and start making short form content.
Nice.
So yeah, Ghost of Tabor was it.
So, for the record, you got a homie in the chat here, Cheerios5687.
Yo.
He really wants to say hi. He's here in chat. He's supporting you, and he loves you. He didn't say that, but I can tell.
Yeah, Cheerios is awesome.
Also
Cheerios
we got Rusty Nugget in the chat too.
Hey,
Rusty
what's
Nugget
up,
JJ,
Rusty Nugget?
who was there helping us move.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and I got to meet him in real life. And Rusty Nugget JJ used to be Sweaty Nugget JJ, and he has been a Between Realities fan literally since episode 1. He has been in the chat for 4 years, and I just met him for the first time a couple weekends ago, and it was really, really awesome.
Slacker.
Whatever.
He was a big help.
Jaden was awesome.
And Cozy, by the way. I saw Cozy earlier in there. So
yeah,
nice.
dude, we've got some awesome people in chat. We got Next Smile VR is here. James is here as well. Bad Robo also in the house. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you,
man. So you were playing Tarkov. You're moving around your mouse, clicking buttons on the keyboard, killing people, maybe dying a little bit. Then you get into VR. Now you're like dropping clips, smacking them into the gun, manually reloading, popping bullet by bullet into the, like, what are you thinking during this? Like, because real quick, I can't, like, my first VR experience was so simple. I can't imagine that, like, going into VR for the first time and playing Ghost of Tabor. Right. Like, I think my brain would have melted and, like, just completely onto the floor.
Is that literally your first VR experience?
Yeah, Ghost of Tabor was my first VR experience ever. Jumped right in, just head first. Just boom, I gotta try this.
So what happened to your brain?
It was completely changed forever. Because now I'm in this. Instead of being behind the screen, I'm in the game, and it was just I literally lost it because I'm like, how am I inside a game right now? Like how, like I can look, I was just freaking out. And then like the first thing I did, I had, I believe, an AK in my hand and Ghosted to Boar, and I looked at the wood grain on it, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, what? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how is this a thing? Like, this looks like I'm holding a real AK-47, but it's not. And just to be able to, because we're Arizonans, so obviously I have some background with firearms. So for me, it was cool being able to just to pick up a pistol, aim and shoot, versus trying to move a mouse and key and try to aim and make sure that the crosshairs point up correctly.
Right.
So it's just interesting how different it was, but also how mesmerizing it was as well, because I was like, I will be honest, before VR, I was like, I don't even know if we're there yet. Getting to Ghosted to Boar, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to tell everybody about VR. Like, everybody has to know about VR. Like, everybody has to get in VR.
See, that's why you're one of us, dude. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you just put a headset on, and that's that.
Yep.
You need to share it. You need to spread the knowledge. You need to get more people involved, because there's truly some magic happening with VR. And I think
100%.
everybody who's here knows that.
Yeah, there's just VR is so amazing. Like, it's so, like, even if, like, going from Ghosted to Boar, obviously I had my little thing where I was doing the differences and similarities between Ghosted to Boar and Escape from Tarkov. And going back, I had to go back into Escape from Tarkov in order to play and kind of get the footage. But every time I would go back and Escape from Tarkov, I'm like, this is so weird. Everything is so far away from me, instead of being like me right there, being able to interact with the tree or use the tree, to conceal myself a little bit as I move to, cover, things like that, where it's like, it's different when you can actually see the tree in front of you and then try to find your next path, versus like moving just to move with a mouse and keyboard.
Totally.
So.
And SoulBC, bro, you gotta leave, man. Like, he just dropped another $10 on us. And he says, love to hear it. Combat Waffle Studios in Tabor is life. For real this time, I gotta work. Y'all are entertaining me too much. That you're amazing, Soul. Leave now, okay? Soul. That's the last thing I'm gonna say about you. So it's safe for you to go. And you're welcome to come back anytime. That's so cool. I mean,
thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Combat Waffle, dude.
A bunch of legends.
Dude.
For real. They are.
Legends there, yeah.
It is literally a studio made up of a bunch of freaking legends.
Yeah.
It really is.
Legitimately.
It's insane.
So let me ask you this, Kensei, because I would literally never, and I mean like never, put someone into Ghosts of Tabor for their first VR experience. Like, it is, not only are you moving through space, which I would never recommend somebody do in their first experience, you're also dealing with like really advanced gun mechanics, really advanced inventory systems, all that kind of stuff. Was there no barrier for you in terms of like learning new controls, learning these new systems in the game? And did you ever get uncomfortable when you're like sprinting through VR for the very first time? Like, did you get VR sickness? Like, anything like that?
No, I didn't get VR sickness. It was actually kind of interesting because I didn't know what to expect from VR. The only thing I did, like that first interaction menu, is with the little robot that I had, was super cool, and then went straight into Ghosted to Boar. And like I said, the first thing I did was looked at that AK, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then like I just figured out the mechanics, because I'm like, well, how would I pull out a gun, like a magazine? The only logical thing was like the grip and the trigger, and luckily we only have the joystick. So it was super easy to figure out the controls coming from a controller background, especially with console gaming. So it's like, how did they implement the controls for this versus a full-on two-handed control? It's just pretty much, you just have the two-handed control in separate hands.
Yeah, just separate hands, exactly.
Yep. So that was pretty easy to figure out. I didn't get motion sickness, which was surprising. So for a moment there, I'm like, well, maybe my brain doesn't function the way that it should if I'm not getting motion sickness.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a separate conversation, Kensei.
Yeah, true. I'm gonna have a talk with my doctor about it later, but that's neither here nor there. But then the crazy thing is, there's two people. One of them is sitting next to you, and the other one is Tribe Grey Wolf. They took me into Neos. Yeah, it was Neos at the time, and took me to the Donut World And they're like,
that was tried, by the way, because I never bring new people into the donut world.
Yeah, I just remember you being there and me being like, this place is cool. It reminded me when Goku was training on King Kai's planet, because like he could just run around the whole planet, and on the donut world you can just run around the whole donut, and it just felt like I was in Dragon Ball Z.
Steven, what is the donut world?
So the donut world is a world literally shaped as a donut, but gravity is so wacky because if you were really small running around in a donut, even if you're on the inside of the donut, you're still stuck to the floor. But if you like jump into the middle, then you get kind of gravity takes you and sucks you over to the other side. And as you're running around the circular sides of a donut, it can be very nausea inducing. So Tribe loves to just grab people and throw them into the most pukey things that he can find, but Kensei was like fine with it.
Nice.
No problems.
Shout out Super Mario Galaxy. I just want to shout out Super Mario Galaxy right now, because that's on. Now I'm playing Super Mario Galaxy in my head.
It's very much like that. Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
It was fun. He did. It was one of those things like, oh, okay, so you haven't gotten motion sickness. Let's truly test it out. I'm like, all right, take me to wherever you're gonna take me, because I could just easily put the headset up or something. So I wasn't too worried. But then like once he took me there, I was like, man, this is crazy that there's even a world like this, or the fact that there's even different worlds that are created by just like these map geniuses, like people just creating map. Like again, and then it went into more of that where I'm like, you can do all of this in virtual reality. You can literally go to a different world. You can pick an avatar. You can be whatever you want, who you want, and however you see yourself, no matter where you're going in virtual reality, whether it's in, well, now Resonite or VR chat, anything like that. And it's just such a spectacular thing that again, another life-changing perspective as well for virtual reality.
And guess who finally showed up?
Man, you can't say the word Grey Wolf without summoning Grey Wolf.
What's up, dude? Finally, we only had to go for like a million years before you tuned into the live show. Come on, man. We've been talking about you for like an hour.
And Red Rum's here too. Cool.
Yeah, hell
that's my teammate, the squad leader.
All right.
So, what do you mean your teammate?
My teammate, my squad leader for Forge Legion.
What is that?
Is like for contractors. It's for contractors. It's a league. I joined a league.
Okay, so you think you're good at games?
I have no idea. We about to find out. I'm gonna learn today.
So you joined a league. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So as you can tell, like I'm really into VR, but I'm also really into competitive gaming. And since Contractor Showdown came out, I've been really just heavy into that. And so we recently competed with Tribe and ShortStackVR. And I want to keep competing because I absolutely love it. So I ended up joining Forge Legion and getting on the team with KenseiGamingVR and a couple of, actually there's quite a bit of members on the team. So it's been quite interesting learning the perspective of how virtual reality pro players play versus like just going in there and just like, I'm just gonna shoot things. So like there's like a completely different strategy, a different mindset, and a different way you approach things. And it's like things you don't normally think about, but also like if you've had milsim experience. So I used to do a little bit of milsimming with Arma. And so I had some background in that, but then like there's a whole workbook, a handbook of all sorts of stuff you can learn. But yeah, I joined that because I wanted to compete more. I want to be it's been a dream of mine to just do competitive, not just like stream like video games, but also do something competitive as well, because I'm very competitive.
It's a different game when you are like really trying to win. Like everybody's trying to win, but when you are like actually trying to win, games take new shape. Like you think you know a game until you get to a competitive level, and now it's like back to the drawing board. Like fractions of figures matter, things like that. And there's so much knowledge to learn, especially around these types of games. And I always think it's so interesting, especially with VR in terms of competitive gaming, because there's more of a physicality to it. Even though you're like still using just controllers, there's still more of a physicality to it than if you're like sitting at a mouse and keyboard or playing with a controller in your hands. So competitive gaming is amazing. I love it. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of like a jack of all trades, master of none. Like I'm like better than my friends, but never good enough to play competitively. You know, it's like I'm in that terrible, like that terrible zone where I can never get what I need.
You're balanced. You're balanced.
I'm
You're
average.
exactly
I'm average trash is what I am.
No, you're not average.
Hey.
That, King.
If I wasn't, I wouldn't say so. Okay.
That's true.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen you take home the golden competitions. Wasn't it you? Didn't you win the tower tag competition?
I have won a North American tower tag tournament.
Yeah.
And we took second in the world tournament.
See, that's not very average.
Okay, you're right. That's not. Yeah. But I had Pesky Cashew on my team.
Ooh, Pesky Cashew, one of the best esports players in the world.
He's so good.
Anytime we were up against him, I was like, oh, well, there goes that. He so just destroys, man. He can't not get a headshot. It's not even possible.
But I don't want to get too far away from this because I am curious. What is the league, right? Like who organizes these teams? Like who puts on these matches? What's the league called, and how did you get involved in it? Or how would one get involved in it?
Yeah, so recently, ShortStack's Tribe, Grey Wolf, and we competed for the Contractor Showdown. Caveman Studio threw on a tournament for Contractor Showdown. So we ended up taking 5th. And I don't know, as a result of that, somebody named Astrayas from Rogue reached out and wanted us to compete in like a regular, like off the script type of tournament. And so I wanted to do it, and I reached out to Tribe and Stacks, but they didn't want to do it because they felt it was stressful, which is totally understandable. Tournaments can be super stressful, and so I wanted to keep competing because again, that's something that's part of me. I like competing and doing tournament style stuff. So I told Astrayas, I was like, hey, I still want to compete in this little tournament, and if there's a team that has an opening, I would love to join the team. So Astrayas from Rogue was like, yeah, sure, we'll get you onto one of the teams. And they put me in touch with KenseiGamingVR for Forge Legion. They put me on the team. And so as of recently, I've just been on a team with them. But yeah, it's for the Virtual Reality Pro League. I don't know if they have anything for Showdown right now or if they're in the works for it, but they're primarily Contractor Virtual Reality Pro League.
Word. Okay, sweet. So
man, does everyone here know Contractor Showdown? I would imagine, right? Everyone in chat knows this game because Contractors was out forever, and now Contractor Showdown is it's
a new game,
a war zone.
It's not Contractors,
right?
It's a new game.
It's a new game, and it's a battle royale game where 60 people parachute onto an island, which is an absolutely massive island that's really beautiful, has amazing graphics, insane mechanics, great unlockable and leveling systems.
Like if Ghost of Tabor is Tarkov, Showdown is
Warzone,
is Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so everyone should have this on their radar because this will probably be just like Tabor has been the game that's kind of swept VR for the past year and a half. This is going to be the next.
I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I would not have enjoyed it as much as I did if it weren't for this guy. Wait, am I pointing at the right thing? No, this guy. Because I went in as basically a noob, and I was just like asking questions the whole time. I'm just like, hey, what's this mean? What is that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And Kensei is right there. He's like, boom, 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 boom. He's on my squad. He's answering all my questions, and he guided me like a Sherpa up the mountain of Contractor Showdown. So thanks, man.
Dude, I want to be a Sherpa. That'd be sick. I would love to guide some people and be like, all right, here's some pro tips. Just kidding. I need to get better at slinging myself, though. Eventually, once I get some stuff down, I don't really have any pro tips, but
yes, you do.
I don't know.
Dude, the basics are pro tips when you are playing competitively, man. Like,
yeah,
competitive gaming is, like we said earlier, there's just so many layers to it, and like there's a lot to think about. So yeah, man, I appreciate you kind of showing me the ropes, and for the record, I'm not done learning, so I'm gonna need you to get me back in there.
We need to get back in there, man, and just dominate. Showdown.
I truly look forward to being done moving and maybe work calming down a hair so I can get back into playing more games, man. I want to get in there with you guys. I really love that game. I want to play more Tabor too. Oh man,
dude, you know what game is always killing it, and we really don't mention it enough. I mean, maybe we do, because frankly, everybody else talks about them. But Walkabout Mini Golf. Like,
bro.
Dude, Walkabout Mini Golf.
Mini Golf is fun.
Crushes. They are crushing it. Everyone loves it. Anyone who's ever played the game is like, yep, this is good. Yeah, this is good so VR right here.
And it's a great way to just connect with people and hang out. And you know, I mean, you can play mini golf. There's a whole bunch of courses. There's something for everyone. But then you can they hide balls all over the courses. You can go around and find the balls. But then there's even another mode where they give you riddles and you have to run around the course and find different things from the clues. And if you get all of the stuff, you earn a special club. And me and Creeper Betty go in there and we get all of it. We have 100% completed everything on every course. And they just announced that they're teaming up with Wallace and Gromit.
We were at the announcement in Austin.
We were at the announcement in Austin. Yeah, we all got all kinds of cool swag. And I love Wallace and Gromit.
What is Wallace and Gromit?
It's like a claymation, cartoony type of comedy thing that's been around for quite some time, for a really long time.
It is British. And they actually, the announcement party that we were at in Austin, they held at this British tea house. And we were drinking tea and eating crumpets, and it was very posh and prim and very fancy, and felt like we were in England for the day,
Yeah, I can't wait to get in there, man.
So not only have they announced that, but they just came out with another DLC, this evil puffin lair, which is super fun. I don't know if you played it, but I got to play that maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday I played it.
So when are we getting a Walkabout Mini Golf so that way we can do some of these riddles?
Bro, I'm down.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because I don't have any clubs. I love playing Walkabout Mini Golf, but I never get all the balls. I don't have a special club. I need to invest some time.
I do more of the fox hunts than I play the game.
Wow.
Hands down. That's my favorite thing to do in there, is to go in and find all the stuff. And because a lot of times it's not easy. They really have you kind of racking your brain and trying to figure things out, and they do a really good job. And then you get rewarded with you would like it because then you get to flex some people.
That's what I'm all about.
People are where'd you get that club?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, wouldn't you like?
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
Wait, so the real question is, Skiva, did they give you your own personal Skiva?
Dude, Skiva gets enough. All right. If he gets a club, I will riot. I can't.
Are we allowed to talk about that, Skiva?
I think so. Yeah. They announced they showed it publicly. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's cool. I can't wait to play that.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and break the news here, Kensei?
All right, everybody. If you guys didn't know already, our boy here, Skiva, has his own thing in the game. That's right. Skiva has, what is it called?
Max Mustard. So in Max Mustard, which is coming out by Toast Interactive, who did Richie's Plank Experience, is making a platformer, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, think Astrobot, or Lucky's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Skiva demos this game, and Richie's Plank Experience, Richie, is getting feedback from Skiva, and he's like, what do you think about this game? And he's like, it's pretty good, but you're missing the Mario the Mario butt stomp. You jump in the air, hit Z, boom, the butt slam. He's like, you need that. And he was like, oh man, you're right, we do need that. So they added it to the game, and not only did they add this unlockable ability to the game that you can purchase with your in-game currency, it's named after Skiva. It's called the Skiva Slam. If you play Max Mustard, you can unlock a move called the Skiva Slam, and I want to flip the table just thinking about it because I'm so jealous. I don't get jealous about everything, but
you were in Pixel Rip 1995.
I don't care.
I wasn't in that. I wasn't in that one. That was dope, man. You have your face in there. That's pretty cool.
But Skiva, that's an awesome accomplishment. That is so sick. I can't wait to unlock that in Max Mustard. I'm so stoked to try that.
I'm using that move exclusively.
About it.
Only Skiva Slam. Once I unlock it, I'm not doing anything else.
I told him I keep going through the level, and keep going to try to figure out where that slam button is, because I just intuitively that's the move I want to use. I grew up playing Mario 64 and stuff like that, and that move was critical in a lot of situations,
Yep.
So I was like, you got to bring that in.
Can you show us an example of that slam?
Yeah, can we see it on the
desk? after the show? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Heck yeah. I'm
Max
stoked.
Mustard from the creators of Richie's Plank Experience. It's coming out soon.
Yep.
When
It is in the next, like in the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact date in front of me, but yeah, it's coming really soon. So make sure you grab it because it's stupid amounts of fun. I don't know how many people here like platformers, but I personally think platformers translate into VR really, really, really well.
I love them.
You know, like you don't have to be first person in a lot of this stuff. You can absolutely you know, you can look around, you can get different vantage points, like when trying to make jumps and seeing enemies around corners, and like it's just awesome, man. I love platformers in VR. So
yeah,
this is a good one.
That's the style of game it is. It's called platformers.
Yeah,
it's a platformer. Yeah,
just it's a 3D platformer.
Yeah, like Mario 3D Land or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a specific name for that, so that's cool. Learning something new.
So Super Mario, the OG Super Mario, that is a platformer. Like you're going side scrolling, and there are platforms that you jump on. It's like you're jumping from platform to platform is like where the name comes from, and then you turn it into 3D. You have Super Mario 64, Astrobot Rescue Mission, which you've never played because you don't have a PSVR 2, is incredible. That game is so freaking good, bro.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Like you.
Because that's what they were playing at a Game On Expo, right?
It is, and thank you for mentioning that because Game On Expo is this weekend in Phoenix, and we're not there. I mean, I'm going to attend on Saturday just as an attendee, but if you've watched the show before, you know that we have provided VR at the Game On Expo in Phoenix for the past few years. But they moved it from the summertime to March, and our March is insane, right? We just came back from South by. We're going to GDC. We literally do not have time.
It's the only month that we couldn't do, but you know, that's just when it had to be. So,
but they now have VR provided by someone else who does it professionally. So VR is at Game On Expo to stay, and Kensei Gaming showed up during the heat of the summer and busted his ass working at the Game On Expo booth with us, dude. And you crushed it. Thank you so much for coming and doing that with us, man.
Thank you for even letting me be a part of that. That was such a great experience to watch other people reaction to VR. That was the best. Like, cause you get to, again, I'll never forget this like little kid that walked out that had to been like 2 or 3, like 3 years old tops, like max. And puts on the VR headset, wants to do Beat Saber. So I'm like, okay. And he's just going to town on Beat Saber. I'm like, man, this generation of gamers, dude, they're gonna crush it. I'm so stoked for the next generation of gamers. Dude. I'm only getting older, so I mean, we gotta usher in the new generation the best way we can. So,
and they're gonna be VR gamers.
Yep.
They're going to be VR gamers.
A lot of people talk about like, when is VR going to like become mass adopted? The thing is, and Facebook knows this too, right? And Meta or whoever they are today, right? They they know that like right now, little kids from early ages to teenage years are all in VR, right? It's a native thing to them, and they don't get motion sick 99.9% of the time because they're still young, right? And their brains are able to adapt to things better. And so from the very beginning, they're growing up with the VR. This next generation that's growing up, man, I mean, it's going to be, and never mind the fact that VR is going to be smaller, lighter, thinner, and the graphics can be 100 times better, right? I mean, it's just, it's just going to be the thing. I think flat gaming will be way more retro.
Well, when you're young, things are so profound, like when I played Super Mario 64 for the first time, it blew my mind.
Yeah, same.
Blew my mind. I could not believe it. I was just shocked, and that's all I wanted to do. You could not pull me off of that thing. Kids today are having that experience with VR. They are like playing Xbox, and then they put on a headset and they're like, no way.
Things like Job Simulator, man. They live in there doing that stuff.
It's so interesting how like Job Simulator, little kids in Job Simulator. I'm like, dude, enjoy it now, because trust me, every time I'm just like, man, I gotta go work my job.
Well, but I think this speaks kind of to your approach to content creation too, right? Because you were mentioning earlier that you've decided to go family friendly, and I think for VR gaming as your audience, that's a really good route to go, because a lot of them are younger. I would not be surprised if most of your audience was younger than you. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're 100% right, and that's why I like being family friendly, because it's like, if we're gonna usher something in, let's try to do it correctly. Don't get me wrong, I love Dr. Disrespect. I love Tim the Tap Man. They swear, they do all sorts of crazy stuff, and that's cool and all. That's good for them. But I want to take a different approach that's gonna promote something a little bit more positive, because we see enough of that, right? We see this every day when we log on. So it's nice and it's something different, and it's something that's going to appeal more to people who are a little bit younger, so their parents can be like, yeah, you can watch this streamer who's not swearing.
Exactly.
And that's going to just push VR, in my opinion, like, because the parents are going to be like, this is acceptable. Let's get a VR headset. You know, oh, my favorite streamer, he has a VR headset. Now I want a VR headset. Like there's so many things that can take place to help push virtual reality and make it not just a small niche, but a much larger niche. And there should, in my opinion, I feel like there should be a way to usher that in correctly, so that way we can create a new generation of, you know, not just more like friendlier streamers, but also just like a little bit more positive environment.
Right.
So.
Well, and also I want to like call out this too, like being adult oriented and not being friendly are not mutually exclusive things. You know, like I would say Between Realities is not made for kids. You know, like, and I mean, you know, this season so far, we've talked to a lot of content creators, which, by the way, everybody hang on tight, because we do have a lot of different types of guests coming on this season. Content creators are just so good, and they're so fast, and like you send a message to them and you're like, hey, pick a date, and they do. And you know, we had like 4 or 5 months of dates, and YouTubers grabbed like the first 8, you know, so because they're on it, you know. So we do have a lot of different types of people coming, and
they're all, and almost everyone that's been on here are like legitimately our friends, so it's very, very easy to have conversations. You know they're gonna have good cameras and microphones. Oh, absolutely.
You know, we've had episodes about like adult content in VR. We've had episodes about like morally or ethically ambiguous things, you know, and that's not exactly made for kids. Yeah, so you know, but we're friendly. You know, like we're cultivating a positive space and positive energy. So I do think that there is a place for all of it, but given the size of the younger community versus the type of people who are turning into a Between Realities, like we need more of you. You know, like there can be less of us and more of you creating a space that's safe for kids and their families.
Yeah, and again, and that's what we want, or at least that's what I want, or at least envision. But then I'm also envisioning, like, if you're family friendly, now the family can watch you on TV, because we can cast YouTube and whatever to our TVs nowadays. So how cool is it to be like, oh, this family is sitting here watching a stream with their kid and also still being entertained, to where the mom, the dad, and the kid can enjoy it. So again, that's only going to help progress video games and virtual reality and make it a little bit like less of only kids do this and you can't make a career out of it, and start showing like you can make a career out of this. This is entertainment, you know, and sometimes it's better than watching some of the shows that are out now.
Amen. So
dude, for real, I feel like kids don't watch TV anymore. They pretty much watch people play video games, and they watch their favorite YouTubers. My kid rarely, she doesn't ever want to watch standard programming, standard TV and movies. She always wants to watch something on YouTube, and I feel like that's the good majority there of people. So
let me ask you this, Kensei, because this is something that has kind of popped up on previous episodes, you know, and like you're creating content for a younger audience, you know, like maybe even like between the ages of like 8 and 14, you know, but like on the younger side of that, going into VR and like being equipped with an AK-47 and like shooting people in the face, like it's like kind of intense, you know, like when I'm in a first person shooter, like I am like heart pounding, like leaning against the wall, listening for footsteps, like saying my prayers and like hoping I don't die while I'm in there. Like, do you have any thoughts about like a younger generation of people getting such a visceral experience that like has so much violence in it?
That's a good point. And honestly, especially being family friendly is just like not swearing, but there's still violence, right? Throughout all of my content, because I do first person shooters. So I'll just put it this way. I've never gone crazy or anything from playing any of the violent games that I've played. I've played violent games, and you know, I've never gone out to do anything crazy, or you know, just like some of the stuff we see in today's society of kids just doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. I don't know. For me personally, I think, you know, it's really up to the parents though when it comes to that kind of stuff. So if the parents are okay with them doing it, then that's, you know, it's what it is. But I'm still going to try to, you know,
like at what age do you put your kid? Like, would you be comfortable putting like your 8-year-old kid into Ghost of Tabor and letting him go get headshots?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Ghost of Tabor. Would I let them play GTA? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, so there's like difference, and there's the difference, right? Where it's like, this is okay. You know, it's a little military, like you're going in there, you're extracting, you're getting stuff. It's interactive. You know, the way you get to be social in there is really kind of cool as well. Just with the proxy chat. Can it get toxic? Yes, but most of the kids, you guys are around with Modern Warfare 2 and how many kids were there in those lobbies.
Yep.
Up the storm and acting crazy. So I think it's something that we're never going to be able to avoid. As long as there's first person shooters, it's just understanding, you know, what this first person shooter entails.
Right.
And I think a lot of us are already kind of numb to a lot of that stuff anyways, especially with the younger generations that have witnessed quite a bit of atrocities from all the way up until 2024, right? So there's a lot of things that we're kind of already fed, and it can numb us to a lot of that. So maybe it is a little bit easier for a kid to go in there and just be like, I'm going to get some bunch of headshots, you know, where in a normal society, like if there wasn't video games and some kid was like, I'm going to go and do some headshots, it sounds a little crazy. But when it's video games, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Man.
For the record, I totally agree. I just wanted to get your perspective on this.
Yeah. No, it's a good perspective. Let's get deep.
Yeah, man. You know, we're kind of training the next generation to be like if they need to fight or go to war, I think they're going to be more prepared than anyone else. You know, we went to CES and we had multiple people from other countries that came with us. You know, we had Marco from MRTV, came from Germany. We had Rhys Da King from the UK. He came over and they were like, yo, let's go shoot like real guns. And because you can do that here, right? So we went to a range. We got like AK-47s and M4s, and like they literally immediately were just nailing headshots. Yeah, like they did not miss. You know what I mean? Because they went through thousands and thousands of hours of weapons training. They knew what the safeties were. They knew how to reload the weapons. Like, and they had never touched a gun in real life. Yeah, you know, it's pretty wild. And they were immediately able to be killers, man. Total killers. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, as long as they stay sane killers in the game. Yep. Don't take it out into the real world unless something hits the fan. No,
here's one of the best aspects about VR, not only for like gaming, but also like training and simulation and stuff. When you're doing something in VR, you have infinite resources, right? Like I could sit here and I could squeeze the trigger on the AK until my hand gets numb, you know, but I burned $200 in like 20 seconds at this range, you know, like, because, you know, a lot of people like, you know, kind of took their time. They're like, oh, I'm gonna like really try to like be as accurate as possible. I had no interest in that, and every interest in feeling the power of a fully automatic weapon in my hands as I squeezed the trigger.
You were the only one that just held the trigger down the entire time until that clip was empty every single time. That was so funny.
I crushed. I shot 4 guns in literally like less than 30 seconds, and $200 just vanished. But it was worth it because it felt so good to do that.
So when you guys did that, did you guys pay for the bullets?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They had a minigun there, you know, a fully automatic minigun, and it was
100 rounds.
100 rounds for $100?
No, it was more than that.
It was more than that?
And it was like only like a second and a half.
Yeah. So that 100 rounds was gone in 1.6 seconds of holding down that trigger, man. Yeah. Gone. 100 rounds. Boom.
Dang.
Done. Hundreds of dollars.
That's wild.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
It was fun.
That seems like it would have been fun. Oh man, I wish we didn't leave that day because I'm like, I want to go and shoot.
Hey, we'll see, dude. I'm going back. If you think I'm not going back to that, you are crazy.
100%.
We should like really. Oh man, if we come into some money, we all got to make a pact the next time we rent a tank. They allow you to rent tanks there and drive them over cars and crush them, and you can shoot miniguns out of helicopters, and it's pretty wild.
I just need bigger clips.
Battle State Games, so for their creators for Escape from Tarkov, for TwitchCon, all their like bigger content creators, they rented out that tank and let them drive the tank and crush cars and shoot all the guns, and they did that all for them. I'm like, that is the coolest thing I've seen any. And then you did it. I'm like, this is 2 times. I got to try this the next time I go out to Vegas.
Well, put a couple $100 aside, and we'll see you there at CES next year. Because
I'm putting more than a couple hundred.
Me too. I'm filling those clips because I think I had 25 rounds in each clip, if I remember correctly, and I want at least double that.
Yeah, 100%.
It feels really good to do. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, because we don't normally get to shoot fully automatic weapons out here in Arizona.
I've
you have to have like a class 3 license or something?
I don't even know.
Yeah, for the normal person, yeah, they're fully automatic is illegal. You can only go up to 3 round bursts.
Yeah.
Here in the state.
I want one.
So
but
listen,
in Nevada, it's different.
This is a lot of ghosts to bore. This is a lot of guns. This is a lot of shooting and tanks and explosions. And obviously that's what resonates with you the most, Kensei. But what are some of the experiences or applications of VR that you've had since you've gotten in that have like helped shape your perspective of the technology?
Ooh, that is a great question. I would have to lean on like the Neos Resonite because that was something Skiva and Tribe took me on an experience that I need to get Miss Kensei in and some other friends in, but it just mind-boggling to me what we can do in VR. And then meeting Livinator as well and getting into VR chat and just learning that there's a whole scene in VR chat. Like my favorite thing is the clubs. The club scene in virtual reality is just bananas to me that, because I used to be a raver and, once you get older, you don't want to go to clubs, you start to realize that things are a little too crazy. So how do I get to party, but from my home? Well, throw on a freaking VR headset, go to VR chat. You can dance the night away, get some freaking trackers. And now you can look at yourself in the mirror or actually do some moves that it's that technology. The fact that we can have trackers and get into VR chat and have full motion and it be visible to others and an avatar is by far the most mind-boggling thing ever. Like it is so unique. And that's the only type of experience you're really ever going to get. Like, I'm going to dress up as Goku and go to the club real quick for the night and spend 3 hours at the club having a good time with all my friends and not have to worry about somebody being drunk and stupid, somebody, pulling out a weapon, things like that, because you're in the comfort of your home, but still experiencing the one thing that you normally don't get to experience anymore as an adult, or maybe you're a parent now. So you're like, oh, I still want to go listen to some club music, but I have 2 kids that I have to take care of. Throw on that VR headset.
Yep, and the drinks are way cheaper, and you don't have to worry about drinking and driving on the way home. Pop that headset off, and you are home.
Yep. Yeah, it's so safe. It's just such a cool thing that we're even capable of doing something like that literally physically going to. Well, kind of.
Here's the thing.
Virtually.
Yeah, this is what you're getting at, and this is the point I want to make about this. Because I agree with you. The club scenes are incredible, and there's something so profound about what's happening there. There's a lot of energy when you go to a club. There's a lot of energy that's getting tossed around, right? Mm-hmm. There's like good vibes of people like dancing. Maybe there's some social awkwardness of like this group not quite meshing with that group yet, but you're thinking about it. Like sometimes there's like somebody's making eyes at you from across the bar, and you're like, oh, who's that? And like there's all this energy that's getting tossed around, and I don't know how, but VR like is conducive to that. Like I feel the same type of social awkwardness that I might entering a space with people that I don't know in real life in VR. Like you'll see a group of people like in a circle dancing, and you're like, maybe you want to get involved, but you don't know how, or you don't know what. It's like real life. Like you feel that same social energy being passed around, even though everybody's inhibiting avatars. Like there's something magical about that.
Agreed. Yeah, there is something magical and also kind of stressful, right? Because if maybe you're not good with like that social anxiety as well, because if you're still having it in VR. But it's interesting that even in virtual reality, a digital space, you're still getting that feeling as if you were there in that real space, as if being physically there, because you're tricking your mind, right? The mind thinks you're physically there, so it doesn't know any better because you see your hands, you can walk, you can move, you're literally there, but just not physically.
Especially with full body tracking, there is nothing that brings you into that digital experience and makes you believe it than when you look down and you see your entire body accurately representing your movements. It something clicks. Like Like, you know, I remember hearing about it. My friends would do it, but like until I did that for the first time, I never truly understood. Something just clicks, and it is so rad,
dude. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a pole dancer in VR chat, but somebody in full body tracking on a pole, like you have no idea who that is, and you don't even care. It's like, wow, look at that. Like, that's pretty good, you know? Like, it like triggers the same feelings that you might get if you were watching a pole dancer in real life. Maybe slightly muted. Okay, it's not exactly the same, but it's something similar. Like, you're like, hey, wait a second, I like that. Like, that's pretty good. And I have no clue who was wearing those trackers. No clue.
Nope.
But I don't care. It doesn't even matter. It's the avatar. Like, it's like you're taking it at face value, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, like, this is as rough and rudimentary as it's ever going to be. It's only going to become easier to exchange that energy, easier to feel that presence with other people, and there's only going to be more opportunity for expression in those spaces.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing like a lot of that take off for events. That's what I was always fascinated about with the club scene in VR chat. It's just the fact that, like, one, there's a DJ with a VR headset, also literally behind their own physical turntables at their house, but in this digital space, looking like they're on a turntable, but in the digital space. And it's like, oh, we can literally have concerts like this. We can do whatever we want in VR, and it's a much safer environment. It probably a little bit cheaper because you already have the headset on. I don't know how you're going to pay to get in. So it's like, hopefully you can just get into the events. So it's really interesting to see how the future is going to unfold, especially within that niche, because you're going to see like the club scene advance into maybe like EDC. And if you don't know what EDC is, that's Electric Daisy Carnival. So imagine EDC, but inside VR. Like, you just have this full-on world where you can just go to different stages and hear your favorite DJs, but they're wearing an avatar. You're wearing an avatar that you're enjoying, you know, and maybe it glows. Yeah, there's just so much. Oh, and the fact that you can just go on to VRoid and make your own avatar, and it syncs up with the music and can glow and do so. Like, VR is crazy. VR is
pretty rad.
Crazy.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's really cool, man. And you get to like do these things with other people. A lot of people tell me like, yeah, VR's all right, but it's so lonely and it just cuts you off from the world. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I see my friends, we hang out, we have a blast. Like, that's way more social than me sitting in my house alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, in the VR chat community, they if you are in VR chat, like for reals, most of the time, people's like most authentic and deepest connections to other people exist there. Like, they go into VR chat knowing nobody, start exploring, start having conversations, start like working that social muscle. You know, maybe you're somebody out there who has tons of social anxiety, and going into VR is a safer place for you to like flex that muscle. You know, if you go in and you try to introduce yourself and you just bomb it, like you just stumble over your words, you're the most awkward person ever, you can log out, log back in with a different avatar and try again. You know, like nothing is attaching you to like your real world persona. So, but those skills will translate. Like, you can go and get good at introducing yourself and talking and making friends, and then that will help you in your real life also.
And you don't have to worry about physical confrontation and, you know, tripping and falling and making a fool out of yourself. All the little things maybe that run through your head with anxiety, you know, and social anxiety.
And a lot of these people go and see each other in real life after making these connections.
For sure.
You know, so you are legitimately making authentic relationships with people in a place that for you, maybe having somebody who's struggling with that can do so more comfortably. And like that right there is like a social good that VR, maybe an unintended social good, you know, like the idea was just give us a space to be in, but it turns out that people are able to leverage the technology to like really make themselves better people. And that's fantastic.
Yeah, it could really help society, you know, building, I mean, we can go super deep. Like, we can even go to the fact, I mean, well, we'll start right there, and then if you want to, we can go.
Dude, we always want to.
Okay, because it's interesting the social construct that you can build within VR chat and learn these skills that maybe it was hard to learn, as you stated, Alex, just to piggyback off that, and just learn these social skills that you maybe didn't have, but now you can have because you're in an avatar that you feel comfortable with, right? Because most people look in the mirror every day and aren't comfortable with their real life avatar that they get to see in the mirror. So eventually they get to build on these skills and hopefully become more comfortable with themselves and move out of that shell so that way they can express themselves in the real world. And as you said, building that skill. So it's going to be interesting to see how it rebuilds people's social abilities, which ties into almost like what we're seeing with HTC going into space, like with mental health. Like we're finding out all this information with VR technology that maybe we can help mental health here on Earth too. You know, maybe we can help people build these social skills on Earth, you know, within VR chat. Maybe we can do all these things. Let's train our military. Let's use this game because it has real military you know, mechanics as far as how the weapon is, how you approach a building. Like there's so much we can do now with virtual reality without causing too much damage to the rest of society as we try to learn some of these skills.
Bro, like the real life, like I'm like snapping at the real life avatar thing, bro. Like that is such a good point, and it's so close to what we were just talking about, because like you said, not everybody's comfortable with the avatar that they see when they look in the mirror, and that might prevent them from going and being more outgoing, you know. And when you can inhabit something that you are more comfortable with, then it creates all of this opportunity for you to express yourself in an authentic way. And I want to shout out the furry community. You know, like I am not a furry. I'm pretty sure Skeeve is not.
I am definitely not.
He's not.
I'm definitely not.
But like we know lots of them. You know, the Neos and Resonite community is very furry heavy, and while I would never choose to express myself in this way, I am so grateful that there is something like Resonite and Neos out there that
and VR chat.
And VR chat, exactly. That allows people who want to express themselves in that way to inhabit a form that makes them feel good, that, you know, for a lot of times it makes them feel attractive, and like they like get to feel something that they wouldn't have otherwise felt, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. You know, like if you're out there wondering like how could you possibly be a furry, man, that's weird. Like there's a way. Because people are doing it. Like it's an authentic form of expression for them, and I appreciate that stuff like Second Life and VR chat has given these people not only a community to go and express this, but also given them the confidence to be who they are in real life also. Because now you realize like they're not afraid to say, "Yep, I'm a furry. I'm going to furry conventions." You know, we meet furries in real life, and they're not wearing fursonas. You know, they're people. So
personas. Oh, you know all the lingo.
I know everything.
Yeah, you do know some lingo. I never even heard of a fursona, but I'm like, hey, cool. I just learned something new. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. And it's nice to be able to find a place where you can be comfortable in a society that doesn't allow you to always feel comfortable, right? In the outside world.
Yep.
So it's cool that VR can do that for people. So then it just makes me excited for the future. And that's why I find it very important since getting into VR to help push this as much as possible, because we're, you know, content creators and streamers, we're kind of like the frontline people of, hey, check this out. I'm playing this game. Want to check it out? And then people are like, what is that? Oh, it's virtual reality. What? And then it's like, oh, this is how. And then now you're changing somebody's life. And maybe that person who wasn't very comfortable in their own skin gets into Resonite, gets into VR chat, and finds a new path for themselves versus, you know, maybe they were depressed because of how they, you know, again, they didn't like the avatar they have in real life. Now they get to be who they want in VR.
So as somebody who's relatively new to the VR space, from your perspective, what is the #1 barrier of entry for mass adoption? What prevents most people from being into VR today?
Marketing.
You think it's a marketing problem?
I think people don't market it enough. I feel like when I turn on the TV, I see my company's name everywhere. It doesn't matter what sport I'm watching, what TV thing I'm watching, no matter what the company I work for in real life, their emblem is there. We need to see that with VR, right? We see Call of Duty during the Super Bowl. We see Call of Duty, you know, during regular games, but we never see Ghost of Tabor. We never see any of these other games that have made a name for themselves in the virtual reality space. You kind of see meta, but anytime you see meta, it's something super cartoony. It doesn't really push the look at where we're at now thought process.
And let me just say here, like, man, they shot themselves in the foot by rebranding Oculus, because I remember during the NBA Finals, there was an Oculus logo on the court.
Yep.
Like, they were legitimately branding and marketing Oculus. And then they're like, and second thought, let's remove this household name from everybody's mouths. And that was just so stupid.
It was so dumb.
I can't imagine. Yeah, that's so it'd be nice to see that, right? It'd be nice to watch, you know, a game or sports or even esports, you know, or it's like, say it's COD, like the CDL, the Call of Duty League. But then, like, you know, there's a commercial for virtual reality for contractors. And you're just like, whoa, I've never seen that before. What's this? I can play this in VR? Like, what is that? You see, or for instance, HTC. Like, HTC, then with NASA, I feel like that should be on TV. Why are we not seeing that on TV?
Right.
Like, that's monumental for that to even be happening. Like, that should be televised so people get an understanding of, like, this is where we're at and this is how we're advancing ourselves. And I think if there was a bigger marketing aspect, then I think it would break that barrier. So I don't know, that's just my opinion. And also reaching out more towards some of those people where we, again, like Tribe did with me with Escape from Tarkov, finding those people, right? And getting in there and being like, okay, let's push it towards these flat screeners, you know, and get them like, hey, you know, you can play that game that you thoroughly enjoy. There's a version of that in virtual reality. You should check it out.
All right, everybody has homework. Go find a gamer that likes a game you like that has a VR equivalent or spiritual successor, and get them to jump ship. Everybody's homework.
Get them.
Go find a gamer and get them.
Everyone be Tribe and mail people your headsets.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes that's what it takes, man.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, my PC that we're streaming this on right now, and my original PC VR headset was donated to me by my homie Emil, who we had as a guest on this show seasons and seasons ago. I bumped into him at a conference. He found out I didn't have the computer and a headset, and he literally shipped it to me.
Yep.
Boom.
Wow, that's so cool. So you have a similar story.
I do. And we're not the only ones, man, because people who care, people who are connected, people who are passionate, like they're just willing to do that kind of stuff, you know? So be the homie out there. If you've got a Quest 3 and you're just sitting on your Quest 2 and it's just like collecting dust, maybe like pass it over to your cousin or your homie or your brother or your sister or, you know, whoever, because maybe they'll love it. And if they don't, take it back. Like if they don't get it, take that back. Yeah.
If they're not super excited right off the bat,
don't let them keep it.
Yeah, don't let them keep it. Be like, you know, I might know somebody that might enjoy this.
And then find a better friend.
And then just write them off. Forget they existed.
Cool, but you don't like VR. I'm writing you off, bro.
No, I have friends who I've just been patiently waiting for, like, you know, 3 years, 4 years. I'm like, don't worry. I know one day it's going to hit the point, your unrealistic expectation is finally going to be met, and you're going to come and join us.
Yeah, my buddy Monkey was like that for the longest time, and every time I tell Miss Kinsey, I'm like, Miss Kinsey, I'm like, man, I want Monkey to get a Quest. She goes, how long did it take Tribe to get you to get into VR? I'm like, a lot. She goes, well, it's the same thing. You're just gonna have to wait and just keep pushing it, and eventually. And he has a Quest 3 now. I've taken him on Ghost of Tabor adventures, Contractor Showdown adventures.
Good for you.
So, and we need to take him on a Resonite adventure.
That's right.
So
I love it. Well, listen, dude, we're gonna start to wrap this up if you can believe it. Okay, I know, isn't that amazing? Time flies when you're hanging out with the homies. But before we do. I just want to bounce the ball into your court one more time. You know, is there anything that like you think is some low-hanging fruit? Anything that's really important about VR or about your journey or about anything that you think is super interesting that we just haven't had a chance to touch on yet that you want to bring up before we call it? No pressure.
Super. Well, there's a lot of pressure now.
Well, that's why I said no pressure. You can just say no, and I'll get rid of you.
I don't want to leave. So it's a low hanging fruit.
Just maybe a message for the community. Anything.
Message for the community. Continue being awesome, because the VR community is amazing. I've met amazing individuals like Skiva, Alex, Tribe, Brandon VR, MickeyBerr, Eric Masher, Todd. So many good people. Yeah, just continue being awesome. Continue treating each other with love and kindness. Let's continue trying to promote positivity and trying to spread the word our word of VR. I was going to say our holy savior VR.
It is. It's our holy savior, man. We obviously we all worship it, so it's really not that far off.
Oh yeah, I know. I can't wait to jump in tonight. I am so excited to put on my VR headset.
Amen, brother. Well, if you are, definitely drop a ping in our multiplayer chat in our Discord server. Everybody, we have a link to our Discord server below. Please join it. We also have links to all of Kensei's stuff in our description here as well. So if anybody wanted to follow up with you, Kensei, like where's the best place to like follow along or subscribe, or like what's like your main focus? Like where would you send somebody to follow you?
To follow me, TikTok, and then my Discord. So always message me on Discord. Follow me on TikTok. I try to be on TikTok. If it gets banned, well, just go to YouTube or Instagram. So yeah, if it gets banned, go to YouTube or Instagram. I'm KenseiGamingVR everywhere. So
dude,
that's it.
Thank you so much for doing this with us today, man. This was a lot of fun. We had a fantastic conversation. I don't think it could have gone any better, really.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
That was super awesome. I appreciate you guys. And thank you for letting me be on your amazing show and to be on the mothership. I appreciate it.
Bro, you are welcome back. All right.
You're absolutely welcome, dude.
Just stay with us and we'll have you back on one day.
Sick. Are you guys beaming me back down to Earth?
You are about to get beamed back down to Arizona, no. But we're not far behind you. Trust me. We'll be coming. We'll be coming. So I guess we'll see you soon, man. Let's meet up in real life and hit up an arcade bar or something.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. Yeah. Bye, you guys.
All right, everybody. Say goodbye to KenseiGamingVR. Thanks for being here, dude. Bye. And he's gone. Boom.
There he goes.
Bye. What do you think, Skiva?
Dude, I love Kensei. He's genuinely an amazing person, and just like I just feel so lucky to have met him and to have met Tribe and just to become a part of this community. It's just so awesome.
Totally, yeah. Maybe you're out there listening. You hadn't heard of Kensei Gaming VR before, but I think you can see now why we did not hesitate to have him on as a guest, because he's just passionate, nothing but good vibes. Apparently, he's good at games. I don't know. I will challenge him one day, and we'll see how good he really is. So, like we said.
Yes, next week is GDC, the Game Developer Conference, where we will be there. We'll be working a booth, running around, and it'll be absolute insanity. So we will not be back this Friday, but the following Friday we will be.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, since you asked, Alex, we'll be back with the famous Kent Boiii, who is one of the just most mind-boggling philosophers in this space, someone who works so hard to keep VR on a good path, he just does such great things in this space, and the industry as a whole just is not the same because of him being in it, and it's for the better. Obviously.
Absolutely. So, Kent Boiii is one of our heroes on this show.
For sure.
This will be his 4th appearance on Between Realities.
Wow.
If you can believe that. And we are so lucky to have him take the time to come and join us. So if this is your first time hearing about Kent Boiii, I do urge you to go and check him out ahead of time so you kind of know what you're going to get yourself into here when we have him on. He is a hyper intellectual. He is very difficult to keep up with. Like, he uses the terminology necessary to express himself, and like he's going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you understand it. You don't. So I'm going to do my best to like try to put everything into terms where we can all keep up.
He has an incredible podcast called the Voices of VR podcast, where he has done
literally thousands of
interviews since the very, very beginning of VR. He has talked to everyone. It's really wild. His path has just been really amazing, so check it out. It'll be great.
This will not be an episode to miss. Trust us. Like Kent coming on is like what helps define us as the podcast that we are, in my opinion, to be completely frank. Like, not just Kent, but Kent is he's really cool. So
we like Kent.
We like him. So we're stoked to have him on, and we like you all as well. So thank you so much for tuning in today to the live show. If you were here on YouTube with us, More VR and Mr. and Mrs. Grey Wolf, Glitch Fandango, Red Rum Gaming VR, Hussein X, RedSlashAce even got up in here, which I love to see. Michelle B, VR Spry Guy, again, happy birthday. Oh, and happy early birthday to Mrs. Grey Wolf. Just some inside jokes here in the chat today. Next Smile VR, of course, Amelia Faust, Substatica, Rusty Nugget JJ as well, the homie. Cozy, I saw in here earlier. Cheerios, right? Yeah, we had Cheerios in here, and Inferno 9 also with a bunch of 16 Walkabout mini golf clubs. That's pretty good.
Nice.
And the rest of you, if I haven't had a chance to get to you yet, Mind Jive, of course. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna take another week off, and we're gonna miss you, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with none other than Kent Boiii. Anything else, Skiva?
Man, that'll do it. Can't wait to see you guys.
Like and subscribe. Be good to each other. Join the Between Realities Discord. Play some games with us this weekend. And
hit us up if you're at GDC.
And hit us up if you're at GDC. Very good. Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.